Hai, saya Sasha Saidin. Selamat datang ke Hello Sehat Apa Khabar, di mana kami ingin bercara bersama anda dari hati ke hati.
Dan saya Dr. Fariza, pakar perubatan hematologi, pensyarah perubatan dan hos podcast anda pada hari ini.
Baiklah, topik kita hari ini NPD. Mungkin anda tidak familiar dengan akronim ini, tapi sekiranya saya menjelaskan apa maksudnya NPD, pasti anda tahu apa yang saya katakan. Jadi NPD yang bermaksud Narcissistic Personality Disorder atau gangguan personality narsistik kini semakin diketengahkan di dalam pelbagai diskusi. Terutamanya apabila membincangkan topik kesedaran kesihatan mental atau mental health disorder. Secara ringkasnya, NPD adalah salah satu jenis gangguan kepribadian yang boleh menimbulkan masalah di pelbagai aspek kehidupan dan hubungan sosial harian kita. Apakah kaedah berhadapan dengan seseorang yang narsistik dan bagaimana untuk memahaminya? Itu yang kita cuba kupaskan hari ini.
Betul. Jadi tujuan utama kita pagi-pagi Ahad ni, sebab kita nak bridge the gap. Because kita tahu masyarakat dah pick up terma narsistik ni, tapi kita nak kupas. Jadi tujuan utama ialah kita buat perbincangan secara umum, tetapi kita ambil kesempatan ni berbincang melalui pengalaman peribadi daripada tetamu kita. Jadi pada hari ini kita ada seorang tetamu yang sangat elegan.
Ya, betul.
Very beautiful and very positive, very positive aura, and I'm instantly drawn to her.
Betul.
Kerana narsistik ni dia satu topik yang berat.
Betul, sangat berat.
Dan tak semua orang boleh bawa sebab dia banyak benda nak dikupas, ya.
Betul.
Jadi saya memperkenalkan tetamu istimewa kita pada hari ini, Puan Urmila Das. Terima kasih kerana hadir, dan Puan Urmila adalah seorang clinical psychologist yang bertauliah. Kini berkhidmat di Prince Court Medical Center, dan beliau juga seorang director di Pusat Terapi Counselling Valley Psychological Center di Bangsa, di mana beliau memberikan perkhidmatan kaunseling dan juga sokongan terapi untuk mental health, untuk kesihatan mental. Jadi Puan Urmila mempunyai credential akademik yang sangat meluas, mendapat ijazah sarjana muda psikologi daripada University Upper Iowa, Amerika Syarikat, ijazah sarjana daripada Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, dan sijil pengurusan dari University of Nevada, Las Vegas, Amerika Syarikat.
Wow.
Terima kasih kerana hadir, dan pertama sekali kami berdua nak tanya, apa khabar Puan Urmila?
Khabar baik. Terima kasih untuk mengundang saya pada show hari ini.
We're so honored to have you here.
Thank you so much.
We'll get straight to the point.
Yes, please.
Jadi Puan Urmila sebagai seorang clinical psychologist yang dilatih untuk berhadapan dengan faktor-faktor kemurungan, which is depression, trauma atau aspek psikologi yang lain. Jadi sudah tentu kerap memberi penilaian, evaluation, diagnosis dan rawatan berasaskan bukti yang tepat. Tetapi bagaimana seorang yang tiada latihan untuk dapat mengesan bahawa seseorang itu mempunyai ciri-ciri narsistik?
Okay. Narcissistic personality disorder is one of 10 personality disorders.
That's
So, yeah. So, macam mana kita nak tahu yang seseorang itu narcissist? Okay. Actually, dari pertama kali, mungkin kita tak nampak yang mereka itu narcissist because most of them are entertainers. Mereka akan, happy. They will be the light of the party. They'll be very sweet. Mereka akan, want to show that they are great people. Okay. So, kalau just say in a romantic circle, mungkin ada perempuan yang macam, tertarik dengan perangai mereka. Ataupun ada juga perempuan yang narcissist. Okay, so it can be other ways.
Lelaki dan perempuan,
Nampak mempersonal.
Yes, suave, attractive, does all the right things, the fun of the party, the life of the party. Tetapi lama-kelamaan, pasangan NPD ni akan kenal pasti yang, boyfriend saya atau girlfriend saya sering marah.
Betul.
Ataupun tak setuju dengan idea dia. Atau tak setuju dengan rancangan girlfriend or boyfriend dia.
Betul.
And mereka akan grumble atau mereka tak akan beritahu yang mereka tak suka. So lama-kelamaan mereka akan pendam perasaan yang not happy and bring it up later.
Ini yang narsistik ke yang
Narcissistic.
pasangan mereka?
Narcissistic, this is what the pasangan goes through.
Yes.
Okay, so initially pasangan akan rasa, no, dia tu orang baik. The first 3 months of our dating kan dia baik sangat. Mungkin sekarang dia tu stres. Dia ada
Buat alasan.
dia buat alasan kerana sudah macam dah sayang and already connected to this person. Tapi lama-kelamaan perangai mereka akan jadi lebih teruk. Okay, so some of the things that you akan tengok is mereka ada problem dengan interpersonal relationships. Okay? Be it dari tempat kerja, dengan kawan-kawan mereka, dengan keluarga mereka, ataupun dengan keluarga pasangan mereka. Okay? So, kalau ada anak-anak, kanak-kanak, mungkin kanak-kanak yang akan kena. The father might say something like, you're not good enough. I'm better.
Betul.
Macam, walaupun anak masih 15-16 tahun and actually cerdik and always trying to perform, impress and perform untuk ayah. Ayah akan dengar apa-apa, whatever his successes are and says, I did that too. Minimize, do not recognize, talk about themselves like they are the best. Cakap tentang benda-benda dari dulu yang, zaman
Kegemilangan di lama dulu.
dia. Betul. And then these topics akan repeat banyak kali.
Betul.
Okay. Tapi pasangan dia yang bukan
Yang menderita tu.
dia akan rasa macam there are 2 or 3 kinds of pasangan, right? Pasangan yang sudah codependent, this is another psychological term. Codependence ni satu orang mengambil and sesuatu orang lagi akan memberi.
Betul.
So kalau you berkahwin dengan seseorang narcissist or you are dating a narcissist, you will start giving. Oh, tak apalah, he likes it, he loves me.
Betul.
I'll just do this, I'll sacrifice. It's okay, he didn't turn up. He didn't do what he's supposed to. So banyak kekecewaan, tetapi dia akan simpan saja dalam.
Relationship tu berpanjangan lah sebab dia ada feeder dengan giver and taker tu.
Yes.
Dia macam match tapi menderita.
Yes.
And so kita rasa macam kalau berhadapan dengan orang narsistik, mungkin dalam situasi tu mungkin rasa, oh, she's just having a bad day, or
Yes.
maybe,
Alasan.
dia had a bad childhood, or
You try to make excuses.
Yes.
sebab benda ni tak semestinya pasangan, mungkin di tempat kerja, bos kita ke. So kita macam, tak apalah, kita bagi benefit of the doubt lah. Kan. Tapi
Tapi
sebenarnya,
sampai bila?
Yes.
it's a very thin line.
Very thin line. Saya nak just explain.
Yeah.
So for the mental health spectrum, kalau kita bermula daripada developmental delay, ada anak dengan autism and ADHD, either or. And then kalau tidak didiagnoskan, anak ini akan,
Membesar.
likelihood membesar dengan problem lain. Like for example, susah untuk belajar. Ataupun terlalu pandai and selalu jahat dekat sekolah. Makes all the other friends in trouble, tapi dia pandai, And then,
Pandai cover.
tapi problem dekat sini is socialization dia tak bagus.
Okay.
So it's like he just uses people. Okay. So lepas tu ada oppositional behavior. Belum diberi ubat lagi kan untuk ADHD. So oppositional behaviors will start macam dia akan jawab balik kepada ibu dan bapa ataupun pukul adik. And then they go out and they have conduct disorder. They think like, oh, actually saya suka sangat lah iPhone ni. Why don't I just steal some money? The impulsivity kan ada bawa ADHD, ada inattention, hyperactivity and impulsivity. Impulsivity itu akan suruh mereka membuat sesuatu tanpa ingat
Apa fikir
akibat,
Okay.
So they will do that. So the next path is kemurungan and keresahan kerana keluarga tak akan happy. Maybe mereka akan hantar maybe to asrama or to go and see psychiatrist and this person is tak happy. So lepas tak happy ni, kemurangan and keresahan will start. Tapi you boleh tengok ciri-ciri personality disorder. That's the next step. So under the personality disorder yang I cakap tadi, ada 10 jenis kan. Narcissistic personality disorder is one of them. Tetapi kalau, okay, so dia masuk personality disorder, mungkin tak ada apa-apa empathy untuk kawan-kawan, untuk ibu bapa, untuk adik-beradik. And then tapi dia pandai kan. So mungkin dia akan masuk ke dalam pekerjaan yang bagus. And then because they understand, mereka mungkin faham yang mereka tak ada kawan yang asli or very close friends, they might go into alcohol, drugs, overeating, all centered around the mouth, right? And the next step, actually the last step is schizophrenia.
Oh, wow.
Before that is personality disorders. Before that is mood disorders and anxiety disorders. And before that is developmental disorders. So kalau kita tak tangkap di sini, likelihood untuk mereka jadi problem dengan personality is very high. Okay. So untuk mendapatkan diagnosis personality disorder, kita ada ciri-ciri yang mesti
Dipenuhi.
It has to be met. Tak ada empathy or selalu kena that person kena selalu betul. Orang lain tak boleh cakap yang no, actually ada research baru yang cakap tentang ini. I give you example. Kawan saya, dia doktor. Tapi dia GP. Okay, not that GP is wrong. GP. Dia jumpa dengan kawan saya, nuclear physicist. Okay, with a PhD in nuclear physics and sudah bekerja dekat Switzerland, also dekat CERN. So it's nuclear physics every day.
Wow.
It's GP every day, right? So mereka, they met at a party and argument started. So I pun dengar kenapa macam ni ya. So I terdengar doktor ni cakap, masa saya belajar physics dulu, dalam A-level saya, memang ini teori. Teori tak akan tukar.
Okay.
So the nuclear physicist cakap, bila you belajar form 5 tahun berapa? Sudah ada banyak perubahan and new findings. Tapi dia bermati-matian to argue. So kalau nuclear physicist ini seorang narcissist juga, habislah World War III. Tapi kalau dia macam tengok and rasa, okay, this person needs to blow his own trumpet, let me take a back seat. It will come down. Fit lagi.
To use it. Jadi, is it safe to say it is sebenarnya a control issue, eh?
Yes. Actually, interestingly...
And insecure as well, I guess.
Yes. Interestingly, just recently also, I was talking to a psychiatrist, dia cakap, oh, narcissist itu kan mereka ingat dia punya self-esteem high. I said, no, you're wrong.
Yes.
When you have good self-esteem, you tak payah prove anything to anybody.
Oh.
Correct? If someone asks you, you jawab. Bukannya you kena heboh-hebohkan, oh,
Betul.
I know, So, memang narcissist ini ada low self-esteem and also high ego. High ego and low self-esteem. So, orang yang actually sebetulnya pandai, mereka tak akan pergi and cakap, you know what, I know this. Or answer for other people. Actually, you're wrong. I know this.
So we are like 5 minutes into the discussion and it's so loaded.
Yes.
It's loaded and I have like in my mind I'm fighting like hundreds of questions for you. Because I mean we are from similar backgrounds, tetapi for the benefit untuk pendengar-pendengar kita yang sangat nak tahu dengan lebih mendalam, so I want to go back on a few of the points that you mentioned earlier. Dia tak boleh salah, dia je yang betul. Okay. Bila kita bermasyarakat, bila kita berkomuniti, kita kena ada interpersonal relationship supaya kita boleh hidup dengan harmoni. So kat situ dah jam kan, orang yang that's where you can see the problem.
Betul.
Tetapi bila kita bermasyarakat, bila kita bekerja, ada individu yang mungkin personality dia kurang menyenangkan, tetapi tak semestinya dia tu narcissistic. Tapi kita ni cepat sangat nak label orang, you know, sometimes we are judgmental. Dia tu narcissistic lah. Tapi sebenarnya tak, cuma mungkin setengah orang tu dia just a difficult person ataupun not necessarily NPD. So my question is, you mentioned rightly ada beberapa ciri classical narcissistic kan. So, dia kena bermegah-megah. Dia kena disanjung-sanjung. Dan dia tak ada empathy, which is very important. No empathy. And also,
They're always right.
they're always right. So, manipulation, control kat situ. So, untuk pendengar kita atau masyarakat kita, macam mana nak bezakan orang yang mungkin personality dia kurang menyenangkan atau just a difficult person versus memang orang tu ada narcissistic personality disorder. Can you give some tips?
Okay, so the other researcher, a psychologist yang bernama Carl Jung,
Yeah.
20th century.
Yeah.
Okay, dia ada membawa sesuatu kajian yang dipanggil archetypes,
Yeah.
personality traits.
Yeah.
Okay, I think dia ada 16 jenis.
Yeah.
Tapi apa yang saya guna ialah hanya 6 jenis. So, bawa traits ini, ada kalanya saya jumpa seseorang and then ada problem dekat rumah, ada problem dekat kerja, ada problem dengan kawan-kawan. So, saya kena tahu sebelum terus pergi ke NPD ataupun personality disorder kerana personality disorder tak ada ubat.
Yeah.
Do you know that? Tak ada ubat. Kemurungan.
Is no pharmacotherapy.
Yes.
Even to regulate emotions pun tak ada.
Regulate emotion is work, hard work. You kena guna your cognitive behavior work and our psychodynamics to figure out kenapa dari dulu saya memang macam ni.
Tapi itu yang masalahnya sebab orang narsistik selalunya mereka tak sedar yang diri mereka narsistik.
Yes.
So for them to take that first step to walk into, like for example to go and see you, is already half the battle, I guess.
Yes. But saya terangkan yang orang dengan personality disorder selalunya tidak akan datang.
Yeah.
So isteri mereka atau suami mereka,
Orang yang menderita keliling dia, yang nak tahu jumpa you.
mereka akan datang and then beritahu di mereka yang mereka perlukan pertolongan, so come for support.
Mangsa narcissistic dia akan cari
So
help.
kena dia sikit lah, bawa mereka and then cakap sini and then saya pun kena buat banyak kerja untuk calm that person down, keep the ego up and then agree untuk orang tu datang sendirian. So kita boleh buat kerja ni. So the rapport building dengan therapist is very important. Tapi kalau therapist cakap macam, oh, you're labeled, you are wrong, they're out the door. Right? So I mean, back to your question. Ada ciri-ciri nampak macam narcissist tapi mereka tidak fulfill kriteria DSM-5 untuk narcissism. Tetapi mereka mungkin ada archetype teacher or spoiled child. Ada 6 archetype. Nurturer. Nurturer ialah seorang yang anda akan pergi jumpa kerana ada problem or you're happy. Someone that will never judge you. Okay? All of us must have a few nurturers in our life. Number 2 is the adult. Adult is very macam logical. Dia, you boleh cakap, oh my God, I broke up again with this person. So adult akan cakap, how many times are you going to break up?
Okay. Faham.
Kalau nurturer,
It's sensible lah.
very sensible. So nurturer akan cakap, oh, I'm so sorry, babe.
Kan I make you cut off.
Yes, let's go eat for a drink. Okay.
Kujur-kujur.
Number 3, teacher. Teacher will say like, awak ni nak belajar bila? Berapa kali awak nak jatuh macam ini? So lepas orang yang complain tu terasa terharu, she will take a step back. The teacher said, no, I want to help you.
Yeah.
Maybe nanti saya yang akan carikan pasangan untuk you. They take over. So the teacher has a bit of narcissist traits, but not full-blown. They're nice people. They have empathy. Tapi the closest I would say is macam dari narcissist is teacher archetype. Number 4, 5, 6 are all child. Sweet child, hurt child, spoiled child. So sweet child is how all of us were when we first came into the world, right? And we just took
Innocent.
things innocent and we can bounce back. The ego is not formed yet.
Kalau gajah pun boleh kawan balik kan?
Yeah.
Ada kan
No grudges kan.
Walau ibu bapa cakap, hari tu kita ke sekolah dah inform headmaster yang dia tu bully you. Kenapa hari ni you kawan dengan dia? He's my friend.
Oh yeah, that's sweet child.
That's the sweet child. The hurt child is maybe kena lontar, kena pukul here and there. Dah letak wall around the sweet child.
Okay.
Isolation.
Yes. They don't trust anybody. After they watch you for a few months, that okay, you are a nice person, sweet child, mereka akan turunkan guard. Yeah. The last is spoiled child, which is also very narcissist. It's about me, myself, and
And I. Macam tak ada lagu.
All about
Kau pergi tengok I sport child.
So your friend says I had a breakup. Oh really? It's okay. Just go to the next one. I like me, and then it's all about them. Tak pernah cakap, okay, what's wrong? Can we do something? Nothing like that.
They turn it back towards them.
Yes. So sometimes it's all about other, like a mixture. We cannot just have one archetype, right?
Okay.
So with Dr. Fariza, what I can see is she has sweet child in her, she has adult in her, she has a bit of nurturer in her.
Oh.
I complete package lah.
Perfect.
But the best connection, the best, thing would be having sweet child and nurturer. Because with the nurturer, you are also responsible. Okay? But anyway, so ramai orang akan cakap sekarang, you ni macam NPD lah. I think your boyfriend is NPD. Or you're just like saying, you ni depressed lah. But actually, clinically, you kena ada ciri-ciri yang, berlepas 2 minggu sebelum you boleh diagnose. Bukan like
Tak boleh immediate.
so there's a lot of perkataan yang digunakan
Secara awam kan.
gaslight. So for NPDs, mereka kena selalu betul. Okay, ego mereka tinggi, self-esteem mereka rendah, and then mereka kena selalu diampu-ampukan,
Betul.
Disanjung.
disanjung, and then tak boleh jawab balik because mereka akan ambil itu sebagai
Defensif tak?
yeah, very
Itu
defensive.
yang trigger gaduh tu.
Yeah, interpersonal relationships out. Okay, dari office ke classroom ke home to friendships. And then mereka juga what is this? Do not have a lot of friendships. Tak ada best friend. Tak ada best friend.
Genuine connection tu tak ada.
So ada juga yang mereka datang jumpa saya tetapi kerana loneliness. And also maybe mereka sudah masuk kemurungan. Maybe mereka bukan dalam position di mana mereka CEO or director, what? So mereka juga ada evaluation. So during evaluation, tak dapat evaluation betul, you are not leader quality, you are not guiding people, mereka akan jadi resah and murung. And then
Sebab dia tak dapat sanjungan tu. Yeah.
tak ada insight.
Yeah.
No insight, that means they think all their problems is kerana orang lain,
Betul.
benda lain.
Betul.
Never them. Okay. They gaslight. Gaslight because I think their way of thinking is dah out a bit. Okay. And then the last one is,
Apa maksud gaslight tadi untuk penelitian?
Ya, betul.
okay, gaslight is okay. Okay, say something happened, sesuatu tu berlaku, tetapi not very good for this narcissist. It's not a good like a label for the narcissist or the thing. Benda yang berlaku tu memang you tahu yang narcissist itu yang buat. So they will change the story. No, I wouldn't. I
Macam relationship case face ada pin.
boleh macam no, I never said like that. I like okay. Oh, you look very fat in that dress. Okay. You keluar nak pakai baju baju cantik, and then the person will say, "Oh, okay." Then you're like, by then kan partner mereka akan ada low self-esteem and damage already because this person every day bermain-main dengan gaslighting and emotional upheaval semua kan. So they'll be holding on to their word to go forward. It's okay, but I think you look fat. And then actually bila you tengok mirror, I think both of you kalau pakai apa pun you tak nampak gemuk. Tapi mereka akan cakap you gemuk.
Yeah.
Because they're not in a good mood. They will change it. So you will be looking at the mirror and said, no, I think I look really good. I'm going to wear it.
Yeah.
They won't like it. I already told you. You don't look good in it. Kenapa nak pakai? So that's playing with their mind,
Betul.
It might not be a specific example, but okay, for example, you are having argument dengan dia, and then you ada beritahu beberapa hujah, and then lepas tu argue, you bawa balik hujah tu, and then dia cakap, you tak cakap hujah tu. No, you didn't.
Dia tak cakap pun. Padahal kita dah cakap.
I think that's very close to almost like mental abuse, no?
Not close, it is. It is psychological, mental, emotional abuse.
That's why kita ada perkataan terminologi victims of narcissistic, mangsa.
Yeah.
Sebab memang jadi mangsa.
Tapi contohnya kalau macam let's say ibu atau suami yang cakap, make that comment, oh you look fat, go and change, I think tapi macam mana ya, sebab itu adalah ibu atau suami kita, so kita out of respect, mungkin they're giving their honest opinion, so how do we differentiate, like they're giving their honest opinion ataupun they're just being nasty?
But kalau mereka buat macam itu selalu, they're being nasty, right? But if it's one-off, mungkin they're very worried, okay, you're going for a show, you're going for this event, mungkin you boleh pakai baju lain, that would be sincere. There's a way to say, baju ni not very nice, it's not very nice for you. But I think you have that other dress that might make you look, wow, drop that gorgeous. There's a way, ada cara untuk cakap kan. So bila mereka cakap terus macam ini, it brings down the other person's self-esteem.
Especially for a woman, when we get all dressed up, when we plan what we're going to wear, what shoes, what bag, makeup, and then you keluar and then you're like, and then you get that statement just like,
yes,
wow. Sebab tu tadi, taking us to the beginning also, because masyarakat selalu bermain dengan terminologi narcissistic, jenis narcissistic lah.
And I think that's only been recent, no? Yeah. But I'm sure it's been around for a long time.
Because Umila also says that it's actually personality disorder. So it's actually a condition. It's not just kita macam nak comment, you ni, kita bukan nak komen orang tu macam tu, tapi memang it's actually a condition.
It's
a
not
proper,
not sarcastic.
It's a proper medical condition.
They say it because they know it's going to have an effect on that person.
Yeah.
And the most important thing I take away just now, is also you say the narcissistic itself tak ada ubat.
Empathy.
Dia tak ada ubat, macam doktor boleh prescribe, Ana ambil ubat ni, esok dia dah tak narcissistic kan. So that one is very important untuk masyarakat kan. And we will discuss more about that lah, how to handle it.
Tapi bagaimana seseorang itu menjadi NPD?
Yes, good question.
Where does it start?
Is it conditioning, social conditioning?
Betul, social conditioning. Apa yang anda lihat bila, dengan ibu bapa sendiri. Mungkin ayah seorang narsis, mungkin ibu seorang narsis, ataupun research baru, neglect. Anak-anak yang tak dijaga dengan baik and selalu dibiarkan sendiri. Not all, rather human being ada resilience kan. Walaupun dua orang kawan daripada background yang sama, one person will be healthy. That's
neglect apa? Neglect emotional or physical or emotional?
All. Like macam mereka tak ada di situ physical, tak ada beri apa-apa kepujian ataupun support, And also mungkin bila mereka buat salah atau exam tak begitu bagus, kena bambu. So, it's showing now, either the child boleh menjadi narcissistic ataupun borderline personality. So, yes, you're right. Dulu kita tak banyak cakap tentang ini, tapi dalam 15 tahun ni ramai orang yang cakap tentang ini and then
they've identified with it, no?
Identified, yeah. And also mereka sudah tahu yang okay, I need to move away from this person.
Yes. Okay, so that's very good point that both of you made, that we need to identify, there's more awareness about narcissistic, kerana once kita dah identify, kita ada strategi. Then we can move on with our life, including the victims.
Betul.
Yes. That's why you need to identify. Betul.
Yes. That was actually my next question I was going to ask. Bagaimana pula untuk mereka yang perlu menjalani kehidupan harian mereka di samping, side by side dengan individu NPD seperti ahli keluarga kita sendiri, because we can't get away from our own family members, right? Majikan tempat kita bekerja, we go to work every day, ataupun sahabat rapat. Mungkin sahabat rapat, we can distance ourselves. Tapi I think family and workplace is a bit hard. Jadi adakah interaksi secara sosial dalam kehidupan harian boleh meninggalkan, okay, I know the answer to this already, we already kind of answered it, but maybe we can elaborate more on it. Boleh meninggalkan apa-apa kesan yang kurang baik dalam satu jangka masa yang panjang untuk mereka yang harus berhadapan dengan mereka yang mempunyai NPD?
Memang ada benda-benda yang tak bagus yang akan berlaku. Like ciri-ciri Stockholm Syndrome.
Yes.
That means you are dengan seorang abuser ataupun NPD atau sociopath or psychopath. or borderline, you can actually develop ciri-ciri macam mensanjung, mensanjungi mereka and bring yourself down. And walaupun mereka dah macam jerit dengan you atau insulted you depan kawan-kawan atau keluarga, tetapi mereka bawa satu gelas air untuk you minum and you akan ingat tentang itu saja. Dia tu baik. Dia bagi saya air.
Betul.
And then you're like, what about dia pukul you sampai tulang you patah?
Yes.
Tak, dia jaga saya.
Yes.
Dia bawa saya bubur.
Yes.
So, dulu bila saya actually consultant dengan Women's Aid Organisation, ramai orang yang akan cakap macam ini. Mereka akan datang ke shelter tu 2-3 kali, sampai 3 kali saja mereka dibenarkan. Lepas 3 kali, mereka tak boleh masuk lagi. This is the rules from before.
Repetitive.
Yes. Mereka tak ada insight.
Yeah.
Mereka selalu rasa yang orang itu akan bertukar. Sampai tulang sudah retak ataupun
But
anak.
Stockholm syndrome ni also one thing is that they become dependent on the abuser.
Yes.
So
Macam orang yang kena kidnap.
it's difficult like kita nak kesian kat yang kena abuse tu, victim tu kita kesian. But like you said, it's repetitive. They don't help themselves get out of the situation. Tapi at the same time, they're made to become dependent on the person that's abusing them, and they don't know any better. They're like, but what do I do after this? I'm all on my own.
Yes,
So,
yes. Normally,
very
there's research showing yang orang yang ada Stockholm Syndrome ada juga personality disorder yang dipanggil dependent personality disorder. So,
Tu lagi satu.
so mereka akan selalu macam ni. They will go and find them. They will go and find the dependent personality so that they can be ruled.
So dia akan cari someone yang more dominant than that.
Yes. And also the dominant person akan cari orang yang tak dominant so they can dominate. So during couple counselling, like I said, orang personality disorder jarang datang untuk treatment unless mungkin office mereka have ordered it. That's why suruh just said saya kena datang jumpa you lah puan. Say okay, and then kita cakap, and then ada kalanya saya kena panggil isteri atau suami masuk, and then the bigger picture, is like, oh dia ni memang macam ni dengan anak-anak kami, and then the wife pun nampak macam very depressed already. So it's a whole family therapy,
Okay, so is it fair to say kalau di halayak orang ramai, they have a different persona, but behind closed doors, there's a different persona?
Definitely. Kerana mereka kena maintain dia punya popularity dalam otak mereka. Mereka rasa yang kalau mereka tak popular, kalau orang tak nampak mereka sebagai orang yang pandai, that means they will know the truth that they are bodoh. It's too black and white. Personality disorder is few things. No insight, black and white thinking, difficulty in going and getting help and making changes. Tapi ada juga orang yang datang cakap, saya ingat ini problem saya lah puan. Saya pergi kerja dekat 5 tempat, all 5 tempat tak dapat evaluation baik, and then also orang ada complain tentang perangai saya. Is something wrong with me? Then I feel like, okay, start work.
Okay, jadi kalau dalam jangka masa memang ada effect lah. Kita dah tahu, dah establish memang ada effect kepada victim itu. So, bagaimana untuk victim itu tampil ke depan? Sebab mungkin dia dalam situasi di mana dia terlalu dependent on the narcissistic person dan dia memang rasa there's no exit, there's no way out. Ataupun mungkin situasi yang dia rasa genuinely dia sayang kepada orang yang narcissistic tu, memang dia sayang. Like you said, they see the good side and they genuinely say, okay, this person is a human being also. They need help. As in like, we just don't want to like disregard this person. Just like how anybody mungkin sakit, kita nak cuba ubatkan seseorang yang mempunyai NPD. So macam mana tu?
Okay. So actually recognition ialah tahap pertama. yang partner saya tu mungkin ada problem. Memang ada problem. Sekarang anak-anak pun dah komplain tentang ayah. Yang ada problem. So first step is cakap dengan mereka dulu. Kalau itu tidak berjaya, bawa orang yang close dengan pasangan anda untuk bercakap dengan mereka. Because ultimately mereka ni kena pergi ke terapi. So ada orang yang tak akan pergi and ini akan jadi lebih teruk dekat rumah. So apa yang mereka buat is isteri akan pergi atau suami bukan NPD akan jumpa terapis dahulu, and kebanyakan kali mereka sudah kena makan ubat antidepressant. Kerana bertahun-tahun
Victim lah.
survivor of NPD or personality disorders sudah maybe murung or ada banyak kerusahan. So mereka jumpa psychologist akan refer pada psychiatrist, and then psychiatrist and psychologist akan bekerja dengan survivor ini. And selepas dia percaya dengan kami, dia mungkin boleh bawa suami dia masuk bercakap. And cara dia bawa suami dia is, doctors nak cakap dengan you tentang saya.
Okay.
Like that. So it's not in their face.
Okay.
You know, kalau narcissist ingat, doctors
So
think it's
saying
my
that
fault.
you're not the problem, I'm the problem. Can you come in and like assess and help? The doctor just wants to speak to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So saya akan suruh jangan beritahu tentang problem-problem. Just that doktor nak tahu lebih history tentang saya dan apa yang saya buat dekat rumah, etc. And then saya kena pandai-pandai untuk simpan dia di situ. And suruh dia datang minggu depan again to continuously. It's not easy. Ini untuk isteri dia. Okay. And then kalau mereka rasa dia boleh percayakan terapis, mereka akan cakap. And kita mungkin boleh buat kerja yang lebih mendalam, seperti macam mana mereka berasa waktu kecil. Apa berlaku di rumah mereka. And then kebanyakan kali mereka ada seseorang ayah atau ibu yang NPD. Okay. So tetapi mereka keramaian atau kebanyakan daripada mereka tak tahu yang mereka perlukan pertolongan. So lepas kahwin, lepas ada problem dengan anak baru, mereka rasa okay, saya bukan dilabelkan. Kita tak boleh bagi tahu apa level. Just okay, kerana background you macam ini, you dah ada banyak-banyak problem. Mungkin kerana itu perwatakan kamu sudah tukar.
So could it mean that benda tu NPD is genetic?
A lot of personality disorders are just like addiction. Yes.
There's a genetic tendency to it. And then kalau you yang ada genetic tendency tu membesar dalam persekitaran yang lagi buat you cenderung. So lagi cepat benda tu berlaku. Tapi kalau you membesar dalam situasi dalam persekitaran yang positif dan tidak membawa you ke arah yang buruk, mungkin benda tu tak berlaku.
Betul.
Jadi
Break the cycle.
jadi bercakap about mental health is a lot of interplay factor.
Yes.
There's a lot of risk factor. So genetic is a risk factor ataupun risiko, tapi tidak semestinya you akan jadi macam tu pada pandangan saya lah. Ada, kalau you ada insight, ada kesedaran dalaman, merenung ke dalam dan ada motivasi untuk berubah. Tapi orang NPD ni dia ada motivasi tak? Dia merenung tak? Dia merenung tak?
Dia ada motivasi untuk tukar orang lain.
Aduh.
Yeah, exactly.
Tetapi
Next victim.
Tapi ada juga yang budak-budak yang tahu yang ibu bapa mereka memang tak betul lah. And mereka akan cakap, it's not a lot, but there are many. My father chooses nak buat macam ni, tapi saya tak akan. Somehow they can take a cycle. Yeah, they can take. You know, saya dah nampak macam mana ayah treat ibu, and saya tak mau jadi macam itu. That's amazing. You know, kerja saya akan habis. Tapi mereka akan angry dengan ayah, mungkin kasar dengan ayah kerana semakin tua mereka tak begitu strong lagi. So anak-anak yang lebih besar akan supersede ayah ni.
Betul.
You know?
Betul.
So bila ayah tu, dulu masa ayah tu muda, tu garang dan NPD. Tapi bila tu ayah tu physically dia dah lemah. So anak yang membesarkan dia tu, yang mungkin tadi masa dia kecil dia victim. So sekarang dia dominant.
Yes.
So dia boleh stand up, berdiri di atas kaki dia.
Betul.
Dan tegas.
Sorry, saya nak share sesuatu perkembangan dalam research ya, Sasha and Dr. Ariza. Baru-baru ini saya pergi ke training workshop on ADHD.
Okay.
So
ADHD untuk
attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Ramai orang ingat yang kalau ada ADHD memang budak tu tak boleh duduk diam.
Hyper.
Tak ada. Mungkin tak ada hyper dalam budak tu, mungkin impulsivity and ada banyak pemikiran, hyper dalam otak. So presentation dia lain actually. Setiap orang itu lain. So dalam workshop ni, researcher dari Australia cakap yang kita actually perlu assess untuk ADHD untuk semua psychological problem. And I believe him. Walaupun dah ada NPD, go back to childhood and tengok kalau ada ADHD and autism.
It's like the basis.
So kalau tak dapat detect atau tak catch benda tu sebelum 6 tahun, ini boleh terus pergi ke oppositional, conduct disorder, mood disorder, anxiety disorder and personality disorder. And ramai orang akan minum alkohol, ambil drugs atau makan terlalu banyak atau tak makan untuk meredakan diri sendiri. So it's an important thing. Sekarang saya dah, actually dalam center saya, memang saya selalu dah duduk dengan seseorang itu dalam 20 minit saya sudah tahu yang mereka ada autism. But and a lot of times orang yang dalam atas spektrum ni akan kahwin dengan NPD. Because autism and ADHD, ada ADHD yang garang, yang clever and won't fall for it. Tapi ada ADHD and autism yang very soft.
Dia yang akan jadi codependent tadi.
Yes, and mereka akan cling on to this narcissist sampai mereka berasa, oh my God, who is this monster?
And how many years will it take for them to wake up?
Sometimes a lot, many years.
And maybe it takes a tragedy to happen before they wake up.
Sometimes memang, and then other times kalau pergi ke therapist and you okay untuk buat kerja ni, is kerja, is work.
Yeah.
Okay? To bring everything in the past and say it out to a stranger and then tengok apa yang boleh dibuat and then to have slow talks with your partner is a lot of work.
Yeah, I think it's also for any victim of any abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, it's also the shame of coming out and saying, my parent is like this, or my marriage is like this. And so it takes a lot of guts and karma also, yeah. So malu sebenarnya sebab masyarakat.
Kita tebal dengan malu. Kita diselimuti dengan shame and guilt. I mean, that's the truth and I have to say. Sometimes bila kita besarkan anak pun, kita shame anak kita. Oh, kalau buat macam ni nanti apalah kan. Macam we instill guilt and shame and fear.
True.
So bila dah ada problem macam ni, bila kita dah besar, kita malu nak seek help sebab kita tak nak ngaku kita dah kahwin dengan.
It's like a failure, almost like a failure. Like,
aduh,
kan, macam.
Betul. So it's very sad because, anak-anak is looking towards you. Kalau you tak boleh forgive them, who will? You brought them into the world.
That's a very powerful thing to say. Kita nak anak kita buat salah, minta maaf dengan kita. Tapi bila kita buat salah dengan anak kita, kita expect dia minta maaf kat kita. Kita tak tunjuk kat dia the example of how to apologize. So I mean, just sharing my personal experience parenting also. Kalau anak kecil-kecil lagi, sometimes I buat silap sikit je tu, macam tak salah apa, tapi I make a happy, mommy sorry, mommy so they did, okay, mommy already say sorry, so dah besar boleh cakap, oh adik sorry, abang sorry. So it's nothing major pun, macam mungkin I terlambat siapkan bag ke, terlambat tersalah letak buku ke, like simple things, but it's forgiveness and starts from home.
Saya nak tanya, kalau macam tadi autism, or as we know, autism ada level-level, dia level 1, level 2. Tapi kalau narcissism ni ada level dia tak? Like if you were, somebody will come in
Grading.
Ada tak macam
Level 1 tak teruk.
Mana tahu. I mean, we joke about it, but
Yeah.
for somebody a victim who might be going through it, or even a narcissist themselves,
It's just a spectrum.
it's obviously for people who are, let's say if there is such thing as narcissism level 1, then it's not so bad. But for somebody who's like having to handle somebody narcissism, let's say 4 or 5, that they can be, I'm sure, like
They cannot function in society, kan?
even life threatening maybe for that person if they're going through depression and everything, like having to handle that another person who's narcissistic on a daily basis. And so is there like levels to
There are levels, but clinically kita tak pakai levels tu. Tapi kita boleh tengok lah ada ciri-ciri tapi it's not fulfilling the diagnostics. So maybe it's beginning. Like, the next thing is about children, right? You start, you dah tengok ciri-ciri ni dalam anak-anak. Tapi kalau nak tahap yang paling tinggi, it would be the US president right now.
okay.
No names mentioned.
Sure. Tapi the world over, a lot of mental health people have diagnosed as malignant narcissism.
Aduh, that's...
Which is like, you elaborate on?
Malignant means you cannot get rid of it. It's like inside every cell of you. Like a malignant cancer all over your body.
Is it fair to say that each and every one of us memang ada sifat narcissistic? A little bit maybe. Tapi cuma berbeza-beza from person to person how narcissistic we can be.
Sometimes kan kita cakap ego tu tak baik. Because I feel narcissism sometimes is disalah pakai for ego. Okay, initially when you are born, you go into identity stage. That's why, budak-budak, you can easily give them some milk, they will stop crying. You pierce their ears and then distract, they'll be all right. But after 6, 7 years old, they will be like throwing a tantrum because ego is starting. The ego stage is starting. So ego, and the last stage is super ego, which will start about 11 years old, should be complete macam sebelum 18 tahun. Okay? So if this 3 peringkat ni is healthy, that person will not have banyak problem in life. Personality, temperament, attachment style, personality traits and all smooth. Okay. Also, apa yang dia tengok di rumah? Kalau ibu bapa is empathetic, kind people, God-fearing people, respectful, mereka akan belajar macam itu. Tapi ada juga anak-anak yang beranak dalam keluarga macam itu yang jadi teruk. So
walaupun parents dia okay. Parents dia tak NPD pun.
Yeah. So it depends. So kita buat history. Ada tak datuk macam ni? Like all your relatives, family tree. And then ada juga, dia ni selalu marah, tak tahu kenapa.
So that's why the component of genetics.
Yes. So nature and nurture. Genetics is under nature. Nurture is macam mana mereka pilih, And yes, it's very important how we bring up the child as well. You have to, kalau dah ada anak, it's 24/7 job till the day you die. You can't bail out.
It's like sama Kak, tadi kalau mungkin sometimes kalau seseorang tu punya sifat narsistik, ada kemungkinan ibu dia atau bapa dia juga narsistik. So how does that work? If they're both narsistic, because you said just now earlier on, there has to be yin and yang.
Yes.
So kalau dua-dua narsistik tu macam mana tu? They both fight for control, they both fight for attention. Not only between the parent and the child who are both narsistic.
Parent and child or parents?
Parent and child, if both
parents are narcissistic.
No, I mean like if the mother narcissistic and anak pun narcissistic, so how does that household work?
Looks like. How does it look like?
World War III. Depending. Kalau ibu dia narcissist alpha 1, that means very strong. Psychopaths ada alpha and there's the follower.
Okay.
So I think if the child is the follower, then the mother will be just that alpha.
Okay, so a narcissistic can also be a follower if there's 2 narcissists in the...
Yes, different kinds, and then that learning from the best, right? It's the guru until they supersede them.
Yes.
Just gonna take on your point earlier on, yang tadi kita cakap kadang-kadang mak dengan ayah okay, sympathetic, empathic, fit well into society. Tetapi mungkin anak dia ada tendensi nak jadi narcissistic. Then you buat family tree kan, tengok kalau ada occurrence in the family. Okay. So for the listeners, pendengar kita, macam mana dia nak tahu anak-anak dia tu kat rumah, mungkin ada yang tantrum. Umur 7 tahun pun nak minta barang pun menjerit-jerit ataupun berguling-guling atas lantai nak minta benda ataupun like screaming. Padahal not babies anymore but maybe primary school or even secondary school. So how parents ni nak differentiate anak dia just macam maybe going through puberty atau going through adolescence, budak-budak sampai sekarang, ataupun ini adalah tanda-tanda awal LPD dan apa tindakan? Masa tu nak bawa jumpa psikologis tak? Ataupun terima je, they're just growing. Because sometimes we make excuse. Growing pains,
Okay.
or adolescents, teenagers, grumpy teenagers,
Actually, apa yang Dr. Fariza cakap is acting out. Throwing a tantrum.
Rebellious.
So temperament is another thing. Personality disorder is different.
Okay.
So temperament, kalau maybe anak ni has had some medical issue yang buat dia macam tu. Sakit perut yang tak boleh dibedah lagi. I have clients macam ni, so mereka akan buat tantrum, demand benda, but they're not.
It's like let's say bowel disease or something like that.
I think benda yang paling penting is empathy. If your child suka tengok orang jatuh, orang cedera, ibu bapa tercedera atau jatuh atau sakit, mereka ketawa-ketawa and tak ada empathy langsung,
Tolong ko.
be careful.
That's disturbing.
That is very good. That is number one sign.
Yes.
Dari kecil tak ada kesian kat orang.
Ya,
Betul.
ada kasihan. Mereka akan cakap, kawan saya ni teruklah hari ni. Dia tak baik dengan saya. So, ibu cakap, kenapa, apa yang kawan you buat? Oh, saya tolak budak lain, dia tak ketawa. Dia marah dekat saya.
Seeking
That's
attention.
a red flag.
Ya.
Red flag.
So, kalau sekali, okey lah. Tapi kalau setiap kali and then berbulan-bulan macam ini, you kena buat sesuatu. Okay, apa yang kita boleh buat? Kita tak boleh bawa ke psychiatrist and beri ubat lagi. Kita kena buat intervention di rumah first, lepas tu psychologist, lepas tu psychiatrist. 3-prong. Okay? So di rumah, you kena buat, mungkin tengok banyak gambar TV yang ada moral of the story. Buat reward system dekat rumah. Okay, when you behave well, you after 5-10 stars, adik akan dapat ini. Like if you have 3 children, it's the same for 3 children. So positive reinforcement. Apa-apa benda yang betul yang dia buat, cakap very well done. Just if the child's name is Emas. Good job, Emas. Mommy is proud of you. Okay, and then beri star. And then kalau ada 2 orang anak lagi, bila mereka membuat benda-benda yang betul, same positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement, you kena duduk dengan anak-anak and cerita dulu what it is. Okay, the 3 of you sit down. Dari hari ni, kalau ibu and bapa dah warning 3 kali, jangan buat itu and you masih buat, you will have time out. Tengok corner tu.
Duduk.
Saya akan duduk situ tengok dinding. And then sampai saya suruh you bangun. You'll be like, oh, why? I need you to think about apa yang you buat. Kelakuan you tadi, you want to do it again or not? And duduk dekat, tengok dinding. Another one is, boleh pergi ke bilik. Hopefully dalam bilik tu tak ada benda-benda yang bagus lah. Macam laptop ke, game ke apa-apa. Biar dia duduk and berfikir. Like sekarang, family tengok TV. Family nak keluar. Tapi kerana saya naughty, saya terpaksa duduk di rumah. So that's negative.
So you're grounded. Yeah.
The third one is extinction. So bila budak tu, making a tantrum dekat lantai, supermarket, you ignore it.
Yes.
You stand there,
Yes.
but you ignore it and kind of look at everybody's orang lain semua akan menjeling-jeling you because your child is
Judging you, what sayang masa you.
Yeah.
But tapi kalau is terlalu teruk, which I prefer, you angkat dia and bawa dia dalam kereta and just duduk diam dalam kereta. Biar dia nangis, scream, shout, whatever, sampai
Yeah.
and then you can cakap, do you need some water?
Yes. Yes. You play it down.
Yeah. Do you need some water? Okay. So, did you think that was useful? That whole exercise? Intellectualize it with them lah.
I see.
So, hopefully...
Kita pun emo sekali.
Jangan you jerit, pukul, something, all that, screaming in the car. Ini bukan perkara yang kita perlu bimbang tentang apa orang lain akan ingat tentang kami. Honesty. Bila kita ada problem, mana orang lain tu?
Betul.
di rumah mereka kan.
Betul.
Kita yang kena soft skill.
So solve it yourself. You brought this child. Okay. So positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, extinction, and time out. Time out is yang okay.
Okay, tadi kita ini tentang kanak-kanak. So I want go back to tadi yang saya cakap tentang kalau kita mempunyai pasangan ataupun parent ataupun majikan that we cannot get out of that situation, we cannot go see a psychologist.
We cannot quit our job.
Kalau belum quit our job,
We need the money.
and we have to live with that person. So what are the let's say on a daily basis, what are the things that we can maybe diffuse the situation, or what behavior can we behave like to help not make the situation even worse?
Okay. I mean, saya selalu berasa yang kita semua ada choices.
Okay.
So, why can't you leave the job? Kalau dah banyak kali bos you dah berperangai macam itu and you sudah ada bercakap dengan bos you dah banyak kali,
Go make your boss leave the job.
you kena put in the things in order. First is go to HR. Okay? Or go to psychologist. Kenapa tak boleh jumpa ke psychologist?
Shame lah.
Shame ke ataupun mereka yang narcissist tu mungkin mereka tak nak pergi jumpa psychologist, like you said. For example, like spouse can go, tapi mungkin dia punya actual spouse yang narcissist tu tak nak pergi juga. That kind of thing.
Tapi spouse dia yang yang victim tu boleh pergi ke psychologist, and psychologist boleh bagi different coping methods.
Okay.
And one of it is writing to your office.
Okay.
Actually, our letters are quite powerful.
Writing office tu maksudnya apa ya?
Writing to HR saying that this client is macam sudah ada diagnosis major depressive disorder kerana benda-benda yang berlaku di office. Mereka akan takut.
Yes.
Mereka akan like
they don't want to be shamed. Because they have that image that you need to suit.
If you sue, kan, you have mental health people behind you. You're not making up a story.
Yes.
So there is a way. There is a choice.
That's very important for that's very good that you say that, because saya merasakan bila di Malaysia, kita bukan first negara maju. Jadi ramai orang bergantung kepada pekerjaan untuk dapat duit, dan bergantung kepada the benefits of the job, macam dapat all the medical benefit, pension and all that. So to actually leave a job, yes, it's a choice, but it's not easy. Not everybody
Can do it.
can do it, but of course it's a choice. But to leave the job, you leave the benefit that comes with it. Dapat insurance coverage anak-anak you semua, and then you leave the job because your boss you narcissistic. But when you say that we can support that worker yang victimized,
Betul.
that's very good. Now they have an option.
Yeah. We are here for them.
That's very good. I think that's a very powerful message that you brought on.
Yeah.
Tapi kalau untuk balik pada soal tapi kalau untuk
Pasangan pula.
pasangan atau parent, yang you have to live side by side with them.
Okay. So for parents, I start with parent first. Kerana parents, mungkin anak-anak tu maybe belum keluar daripada rumah ke universiti lagi. So bila saya dah jumpa family dynamics and saya sudah tengok yang patient saya actually sudah improve, tetapi ada banyak kali dia jatuh kerana benda-benda yang berlaku dekat rumah, saya akan suruh mereka to focus on leaving the country.
Wow.
That
Okay.
means please study hard.
Yes.
Tolong dapatkan scholarship yang saya pun akan cari untuk mereka. Because dulu saya lecturer kan, so saya pun tahu banyak scholarship. And kita boleh buat assessment untuk tengok apa yang sesuai untuk mereka. It's called the RISAC test untuk tengok which kind of industry should go in. And then help them to go there. Our job,
RISAC kau apa tadi?
RISAC is a testing for
Untuk anak-anak tadi tu nak tengok.
yes.
I see.
Not scholarship. What is suitable for you to work as your ambition?
Okay.
That's very good.
Yeah, so it's according to your personality traits lah. And then ada juga anak-anak yang saya suruh datang ke social groups kami. Every Saturday kita ada 3 social groups, young adults, teenagers and children. to handle all of this. So they make friends dengan orang lain yang ada problem sama. Kita keluar bersama.
Ada support group.
So they get out of the environment,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah. So we try to pull them out kerana kita tak boleh just ambil anak angkat kan. I mean, I wish I can, but cannot. So, beritahu mereka yang you kena keluar dari rumah, buat aktiviti, pergi ke sana, ke sini, ambil, berat tentang your future, which university you nak pergi. Kenapa you nak pergi ke universiti sebelah rumah?
But it's something to look forward.
Look forward. Something to look forward to. You need that space, no? Yeah.
And direction to go. Direction to go. And leave the abuse behind.
Yeah. So for children macam ni. Tapi kalau untuk isteri, suami, is memang susah. Especially bila ada anak kecil. Okay?
I suppose you draw the line at physical abuse. Once it gets physical, not that mental is not as bad as physical, but
Mental pun torture.
torture. So I
But
think maybe
that's
there's tips you can give, like people can, like I said, diffuse the situation, or they have the tools to, like, I can overcome whatever that person, whether the wife or husband, is trying to make them feel insecure. But they can have that tool to, like, okay, I know this actually going to happen.
Yes.
I know it's going to happen.
So number one, you must always have your autonomy. That means financially, you mesti ada duit dalam bank that is accessible to you. Because ramai orang cakap money is not everything. Actually, it's very important. Kalau orang yang tak ada duit, which I also see, no job, where will they go?
They go back to the abuser.
Guys, they go back. They stay with the abuser, and then abuser itu pun tengok mereka and then
Lagi.
disrespect them even more. Like, you're a loser. You don't even know where to go. Even your parents don't like you. So ada ramai yang suicidal already,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Kalau mungkin narcissism ni sampai ada to me lah, macam logically ada level-level dia juga, because the
Severity.
amount of abuse that they can incur on a person mungkin ada
Yes.
life threatening juga kan.
So untuk isteri-isteri yang ada pekerjaan, I think satu benda yang you mesti buat is jaga diri sendiri. Exercise, eat well, sleep well. Ignore. It's a waiting game.
Yes.
Tapi isteri yang masih sayang dengan husband yang narcissist, yang ada Stockholm Syndrome, I will tell you it's very hard. Saya ada pernah jumpa seseorang untuk 5 tahun.
5 years.
Sekali seminggu. We thought fail. Didn't change that much.
Dia pun dah codependent dengan you lah, Mas.
Yes, codependent with me, and I ada beritahu, and I dah cakap mungkin kita kena stop sekarang kerana
It's not going anywhere.
it's not going anywhere. Tapi dia ada belajar. Dalam 5 tahun tu dia ada belajar benda yang dia boleh buat. Dia sudah start pergi jumpa kawan-kawan, dan dia juga answer balik narcissist ni. And suami dia selalu cakap, oh, you punya therapist yang suruh you cakap macam ni.
Oh, suami dia tahu dia pergi therapist.
Dia tak kerja credit card bill. Okay?
Hmm.
So, ada perempuan macam itu. And saya rasa yang semua orang actually boleh buat sesuatu pekerjaan. Mungkin it's not high-flying pekerjaan. It can be as simple as online business. You tak payah any like overheads or investment, You can just do online business. Sell something, cook something, or even get a group of women who are selling things and you are the person mengagihkan everything. Why not?
Organize the sales.
Berguna. I think mungkin orang narcissist ni dia cuba untuk buat victim dia rasa macam useless.
Yes. Yeah, no, you always do this. Nothing ever works. Normal thing. So a lot of times psychologists will stand by you. Because it's not only like macam cognitive behavior therapy. There's behavior therapy also where saya perlu pergi dengan klien saya. Like dulu saya pergi untuk medical check-up dengan klien saya ke Prince Court. Saya pun sign. Kerana dua-dua mereka terlalu takut yang mereka ada penyakit yang teruk. Tetapi saya yang dapat diagnosis yang teruk.
Lah.
Satu boleh. Which is a good thing. Kerana kalau saya tak pergi, saya tak akan tahu. So, I think the message yang saya nak bagi is there is help out there. Kalau tak ada duit untuk pergi jumpa psychologist, you boleh leave a message with the clinic. Because bila center saya ada masters interns, kita bagi free. Online sessions free. Ada befrienders. Ada banyak talian sekarang. Lepas COVID, ada banyak talian in different negara as well as town dekat Malaysia yang ada online services ni. Kerana during COVID kan ramai orang nak
Tak boleh face to face.
Yeah.
Ada macam like you said tadi, after a while pun you said to your patient, I think we cannot continue. So I think sometimes mungkin kalau victim of orang yang narcissistic ni mungkin like I said tadi, mungkin ada yang malu, shame kan. Tapi at the same time mungkin diorang pun kalau tak dapat pergi jumpa terapis, mereka bercakap dengan kawan, which is a good thing, right?
Yes.
Tapi mungkin kalau kawan diorang pun mungkin after a while pun macam dalam thing over and
Itulah kita kena ada banyak kawan nurturer.
Let's go back to the archetypes.
Yes, nurturer and sweet child yang tak akan merendahkan you, You kata, kenapa awak ni macam ni dah 45 tahun masih dengan macam problem macam ni? That's not a nurturer. Go the other way. That's a
Jadi
teacher.
kalau like you said, we've talked a lot about the victims also in the beginning about narcissistic. So I think just like for me lah, maybe my final question about Fariza, but so kalau narcissistic ni, and you can be very honest about it, narcissistic ni sebenarnya jahat ke? Ke dia just human sebenarnya, in your honest opinion? Mereka memang jahat ke orangnya? Memang diorang intention dia memang do they really want to hurt other people or
They are a part of a dark triad.
okay?
Psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists, and sadists. Yes, they're bad.
Tu dia. Wow, okay. Yeah, but that's good. That's good. Because we need to know this kind of things. Because like I said, benda ni kita tak banyak bincang tentang benda ni. And I think only recently we've start to talk about it. Although rasa dah lama benda ni. But yeah, it's a very important thing to talk about. And I'm sure banyak orang di luar sana yang they have so many questions and they look to YouTube or they look to podcasts like this, look for answers because maybe they've been isolated and they malu, like I said, they don't know who to talk to. Maybe even their friends already are fed up of listening to the same thing. And yeah, so hopefully not hopefully, I know this will help a lot of people out there also.
And also, I like to summarize because, we deal with a lot of data and guidelines, and we just want to take the salient points. So, just to break things down from what I understand, apa ilmu yang saya dapat hari ni ialah sekiranya kita berhadapan dengan narcissistic personality disorder, number one, dekat tempat kerja, apa victim boleh buat? So, victim, number one, acknowledge the situation. Number two, seek help from HR. Dan kalau ada keperluan untuk berjumpa dengan psikologis atau psychiatrist bertauliah, mungkin ada bantuan dari segi authority letter kepada HR mengatakan victim tersebut telah mengalami gangguan emosi atau gangguan psikiatris seperti depression dan sebagainya. Dan itu akan membolehkan HR mengambil tindakan susulan. Number two, sekiranya NPD ini berlaku dalam relationship suami isteri, agak sukar di mana kalau mangsa tu telah develop also Stockholm syndrome.
Betul.
Ataupun codependent. Apa yang boleh berlaku? Mangsa tersebut kena ada insight. Dia kena ada radungan di dalam dan dia sendiri kena berjumpa dengan psikologis dan ada cara-cara halus atau cara-cara yang berhemah untuk bawa the actual NPD tersebut kepada terapi juga.
Betul.
Namun di dalam terapi, NPD ini mungkin tidak ada ubat untuk dirawat, tapi boleh ada psikologi punya approach untuk merawatnya. Dan yang ketiga, ibu bapa. Ibu bapa mungkin tidak ada NPD tetapi anak mungkin ada tanda-tanda NPD dan kita boleh buat 4 step tadi, positive reward, negative reward, extinction dengan the possible
Time out.
time out. Untuk anak pula yang membesar dengan ibu bapa yang NPD, fokus kepada kehidupan.
Betul.
Fokus kepada masa depan dan bawalah diri, merantaulah. Kerana kita tidak boleh ubah ibu bapa kita, tapi kita boleh ubah hidup kita.
Betul. Rasanya kalau daripada kesimpulan saya, kalau kita memang berhadapan dengan banyak orang yang narsistik dan like I said tadi, rasanya semua orang ada sifat narsistik dalam diri mereka, but it's just how far they go with treating other people.
And whether they tick the boxes or the
tick
NPD.
the boxes. Tapi bagi mereka yang boleh get out of that toxic environment, definitely that's the first step.
Yes.
Tapi kalau sekiranya tidak dapat, and like I said, you have to live with it every day. We need to know the tools, bagaimana untuk handle orang-orang yang narcissistic ni, because salah satu benda, sebab saya buat research pasal benda ni juga, salah satu benda yang merisaukan, banyak kes-kes yang di mana they, like you said, sampai suicidal because they start to question themselves. They start to, daripada orang yang sebenarnya confident, yang mungkin you said, who might be a natural, mereka start to doubt themselves.
They gaslight.
Jadi gaslight. So benda ni sangat-sangat serius sebenarnya. Dan okay, I know I said that was my final question, but my final question is, what would you say to the people who just say, narcissism ni sebenarnya it's just a term. It's just somebody having a bad day. It's just somebody who somebody who's just, they were treated maybe bad by their parents like that.
So for Dr. Fariza's response, COVID pun tak ada 30 tahun dulu. Tapi sudah ada.
Betul.
And untuk ini, it's not a bad day. Kalau ia berlaku sekali-sekala when the person is stressed, where mereka nampak macam angkuh diri ke angry, that's different. And also kita kena tengok ciri-ciri narcissism. Tick, 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 tick. Tapi kalau ini sudah ada and you boleh nampak ini dalam jangka masa macam sebulan, 2 bulan, 3 bulan, 6 bulan, 1 tahun, memang ia narcissism.
Tapi maksud I, people who are saying that, it's not really a mental disorder. It's not really, people just making a big deal out of it, Yeah. Jadi mereka mengatakan benda tu, it's just a phase right now. Everybody's talking about it. Padahal dah lama dah berlaku benda ni. Alah, tak ada apa-apa sebenarnya.
Okay. Actually memang ada ramai orang yang cakap macam itu. And mungkin mereka pun
In denial.
In denial ataupun mereka maybe they are the victims.
Betul.
So mereka nak sweep just under the carpet.
Betul.
Avoid. Mereka akan avoid benda-benda ni kerana maybe it's too close to home. But kalau mereka dah memperkecilkan NPD ni, you don't have to go after them and make it a point that you understand.
Yeah.
You're wasting your time.
That's actually a narcissistic trait when they want to be right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so basically you just
Let it go.
okay.
Okay, fine. Great.
Betul.
Yeah. We can't change anybody, right? Yang tadi saya beritahu, kalau ibu bapa memang macam itu, cari jalan untuk keluar and belajar di negara lain.
Betul.
There's no other way.
Betul.
Betul. Bukannya mereka masuk ke terapi.
Betul.
And walaupun, saya akan beritahu sekarang, walaupun masuk ke terapi, ini akan mengambil jangka masa yang panjang. Therapist has to be very, how do I say, buat cara ni. It's not direct, black and white approach.
And then cognitive therapy ataupun psychiatry therapy, psychological therapy, dia bukan macam ubat. Dia tak ada quick fix.
Betul.
Tu orang kena tahu kan. Kalau makan ubat telan, okay dah baik. Tapi yang ini tak.
Because you have to undo what it's been done.
It's like brain work.
A lot of times, bila isteri nak meninggalkan rumah ataupun anak sudah
Dah dewasa.
committed suicide, then they will come. And then they will say, I should have, I could have.
Tragedy.
Yeah. So kita tak perlu tunggu untuk tragedy,
Okay.
you know.
So rasanya kita almost sampai. Tapi can we do something? Can we end it on a positive note? Can we have something positive from you on this whole, I mean, obviously narcissism is not something that's positive, but a positive thing that we can extract from this whole discussion that we've had.
I think dengan awareness sekarang and dengan research yang dibuat, ramai orang sudah tahu and ramai orang sudah membuat, they're taking steps untuk avoid benda-benda yang susah macam ini. Walaupun mereka yang ada ciri-ciri narcissism ataupun, mereka ada jumpa kawan yang ada ciri-ciri ini, mereka sekarang tahu how to take care of themselves.
Okay.
There are choices. So I think nobody has to be forced to be with a narcissist. It's a choice. Even kalau dah kahwin and perempuan maybe isteri tak ada duit atau tak ada pekerjaan, Tapi isteri boleh buat benda lain to keep herself busy. You can minimize the time of interaction with the narcissist. You know, you can ramai orang Melayu Islam yang mereka banyak mengambil masa dekat masjid, and then they have their groups, and then they do also a lot of charity. Mereka pergi ke sana sini and all that to avoid and reduce. Keep yourself busy. Yeah. Study something. It's not too late.
Yeah.
Do a business.
Yes.
Because anak-anak you pun sedang tengok.
Yeah.
They will ask, why did you not leave earlier? Ini pun sudah terjadi dalam session saya.
Aina tu mungkin nanti tak puas hati dengan parents because you did not protect me.
Yes, ramai yang cakap macam tu.
But it's not too late.
Yes,
That's why we are having this conversation today.
Yes.
So that it's never too late. Selagi you are here, you have a choice.
Yes. And you tuning into this podcast means you want to learn and you want to improve.
Betul.
That's all
This is
it
the reason why we started to do this podcast.
Yes.
For reason.
And bravo to both of you.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Innocent. No, thank you for being
Baju pun sama.
kan. Jadi banyak sangat pearls of wisdom yang kita dapat hari ini sebenarnya. Jadi saya nak summarize istilah NPD, gangguan personality narsistik, adalah salah satu istilah yang kerap dikenal pasti dan kerap dilontarkan. Like you say, it's always being mentioned oleh masyarakat. Ia merupakan sebuah kondisi mental yang perlu diwaspadai. We have to be aware of it. Dengan itu, kami sudah sampai, I wish you could go on and on because this is so interesting. Tapi kami sudah sampai penghujung episod kami kali ini. Terima kasih pada Puan Urmila. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Kerana sudi meluangkan masa bercakap dengan kami.
Thank you so much for, bringing me to your podcast.
No problem.
And untuk starting to cakap tentang benda-benda ini yang very, very important.
That we having real difficult conversation. That's what we're here for.
Betul, ya.
Jadi terima kasih kepada yang mendengar. Semoga mendapat ilmu yang bermanfaat kerana saya pun banyak dapat pencerahan dan perkongsian yang berguna. Jadi tune in for our next episode dan jumpa lagi dalam Hello Sihat Apa Khabar dan teruskan usaha mencari makna dan erti.
Betul. So please be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and let's all take care of each other. Sampai jumpa lagi.
Bye.